Detectives investigating Heather Strube's homicide had narrowed down their list of possible suspects to 12. So you felt positive at that time that it had to be one of those 12 people who knew that Heather would be in the parking lot at that time picking up her son.
It narrowed the focus. We knew exactly where we needed to look. It certainly directed how we proceeded with the investigation.
And then a tip came in that would help law enforcement crack the case. A witness had seen the suspect from the composite fleeing the scene. And did that witness get a good look at the killer's vehicle?
He had seen this white Ford F-150 older model pickup truck behind the shopping center. He also saw the person who got in it and felt it was a disguise.
There must have been some reason that the witness thought this was a disguise.
It was like a Sonny Bono wig. It had this sort of wild sticking out hair. And even the mustache was a little crooked.
And only one person on the suspect list drove that exact type of truck. And who was that?
Stephen's mother, Joanna Hayes.
So was the body type of the suspect in the video similar to Joanna Hayes?
She matched the physical description of the person. Even though all the witnesses said it was a man, there was a lot about it that made us believe, based on the size after viewing the video, that it was either a woman or a younger teenager, someone who was pretty small. So all those things together led us to believe that she was the one who did it, but we didn't have any direct evidence at that point.
When detectives showed Stephen Strube images of Heather's killer, they seemed to hit him hard.
As he looked at it, you could see his body language and how he responded to it. And the investigator asked him, said, "You know who that is?"
And did he admit that the killer was his own mother?
He basically says, yes, that's her. That was her walk that he saw in the parking lot that day from the video. So he was convinced at that point that she was the one who did it.
Investigators asked him to call his mother and confront her.
He told her that he had seen the video and that it was her. And her answer basically is, "Did you tell them it was me?" And he said yes. And so she said, "Well, I guess I better get dressed. They're probably coming to get me."
And what was going through your mind when you heard that?
It was very cold as you listen to it. Here's your 25-year-old son calling you and crying, and yet you're very cold and very dismissive. So.
Detectives brought Joanna Hayes to the station for an interrogation.
You knew that they exchanging at Target 6 o'clock every other weekend?
No, sir.
You did not know?
No, but my son says it's me. I just don't believe it.
You don't think he said that?
No.
Is he lying?
I don't know, maybe we need to go get his glasses.
So when you asked her point blank if she was the one who had murdered Heather, what did she say?
She just would say, "I didn't have any reason to do that. Why would I want to do that?"
Armed with a warrant, forensic experts searched her truck. Did they find any evidence in the truck?
Found one fiber in the truck that was similar to what could have been from a wig.
They scoured her home looking for the disguise the killer had been wearing.
We never found it.
But at that point, did you still have enough evidence against her?
Everything that we had was totally circumstantial. There's no one piece of evidence that pointed directly to say she's the one who did it, but everything together, it meant that she was the only one who could have done it.
Joanna Hayes was placed under arrest. Why do you think Joanna Hayes murdered your daughter?
The assumption all along was that she would be able to basically be Carson's mother. Even though she was the grandmother, she would be the one driving the ship that Carson was on.
So when you process this motive, it must have sickened you.
It was just so hard to believe. If you cared anything about your grandchild, wouldn't you care that he was being able to be raised by his own mother? Didn't you consider what kind of damage that would do to that child?
But prosecutors knew the trial could be an uphill battle.
It was going to be a very difficult prosecution.
The courtroom was silent as Stephen Strube, the prosecutor's star witness, took the stand and testified against his own mother. What went through your mind when, in court, under oath, he said his mother is the one who shot your daughter?
I was surprised that he actually did it, that he actually identified her. he owed that much to those of us that were still alive, and particularly owed it to Heather to be truthful.
Prosecutors were convinced his powerful testimony had solidified their case.
I think it would be difficult for a juror to think that a son would believe that if she hadn't been the one who did it. You wouldn't say that your mother did it if you didn't really believe it.
Joanna Hayes took the stand in her own defense.
Prosecution used your son's own words against
I know.
you.
And now he's got to live with that. They told him repeatedly, call your mom, do this, and we will go help you get your son.
What did you think or feel when she said she was miles away when the murder happened?
She had her story, and she was sticking to it, and no sign of remorse.
I know I haven't done anything wrong with no physical evidence to put me at the scene, or no DNA to put in anything that I own. The fact that every eyewitness said no, I can't identify her sitting in a courtroom today.
She wouldn't admit to anything.
But the jurors weren't buying it and came back with their verdict, guilty. When that verdict was read, what did you and your wife do?
We put our heads down and we cried because of how senseless and how unnecessary this had been. And we thank God that it was over.
Heather's loved ones will be forever grateful to law enforcement who refused to rest until their daughter's killer was brought to justice.
We were so appreciative of the legal system in the county. The DA and the assistant DA had been wonderful to us, along with the police and the investigators, and they figured it out.
But nothing will ever replace their vivacious and beautiful daughter. In an instant, her life was cut brutally short, along with her hopes and dreams of raising her precious little boy.
Well, since a daily reminder of her lives with me in the form of Carson, my grandson, and the things I see in him that I saw in her, it's a blessing, but it's also heart-wrenching. I just wish she could be here to see him.